Hello everyone. Today I'm back, and this time I will be telling the most embarrassing story of my life. I wasn't really sure if I should be sharing this online. Is it a good idea? Probably not. Am I going to do it anyways? Yep, because it's content, I guess. So this story is about me going to Denmark for a school project. And I know that it doesn't really seem related to the title at all, but just trust me, it is pretty related to the title. So when I was in 11th grade, we had this school project where we had to make a project for something centered around both physics and history. So my friends invited me, and we decided to do a short film about the life of a scientist. It was like Augustin de Colomb, or yeah, I think it was him. So the, we tell the teachers that we want to join, and yeah, they accept us. They had like 7 slots for boys, and our group was 6 people, so we just took the entire slot for everyone, I guess, and not many people joined, but yeah. So, anyways, we recorded a short film. It was pretty good, I would say. We did put a lot of effort into it, and it was really fun recording it too. So, anyways, then we are going to head to Denmark because our school was collaborating with another school in Denmark, and we had a flight. So we are going to Denmark. We are in the airport. Nothing's really happening, and we arrived to the airport. We visited like somewhere called Lego House. It wasn't Legoland. It was called Lego House, and it's just like a very budget version of Legoland. It wasn't really that interesting, and we had to pay money to enter. It wasn't really worth it, but it was an experience anyways. And we are expecting to stay somewhere pretty decent, like we were going to another country, and like we weren't staying in a hotel. We knew about that already. We were going to stay somewhere around the school. So apparently we were staying in a barn that the school's principal owned. Like it's kind of weird, but yeah. And the house was pretty small. Like I couldn't really walk without hitting my head to when I was trying to pass the door. And I just want to remind you, we are all 7 boys here, and like we are all teenagers. It wasn't really logical to put us all in the same slot, and we all stayed in a dorm pretty much, except that one other guy, and he just kind of got traumatized by everyone acting so weirdly. One of my friends broke the bed, like the first hour. I was just laying on the bed, and then my friend just jumped on it and broke the bed in half. There were wood splinters all over the place, and we couldn't really tell anyone, so we just reconstructed the bed. I mean, I could lay on it, but I wasn't really happy that I was sleeping on a broken bed. But yeah, anyways. So then we go to the school, of course. It's pretty dark and cold because, Denmark is pretty up north, and like the days or nights are just very long. So we had a really long walk to the school from the barn, and we were served food, because we need to eat. The food was pretty meh, and then we just went to sleep. Before we came, the teachers told us that we should be sleeping at 10 p.m. and we were like, nah, we are going to stay up till 3 a.m. We aren't getting bored. Yeah, and yeah, we were pretty bored, so we all slept at like 9. We were all like snoring and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty uneventful until the second day. We go to the school to have breakfast, and yeah, this is when my lactose intolerance comes into play. And my case of lactose intolerance is like absolutely terrible. It's like horrendous. If I ever try to drink milk or eat ice cream, I'm instantly like dead if I don't go to the toilet in the next 30 minutes. So there wasn't really much for breakfast. We could like have a few slices of salami or bread, but it was mostly cereal. And you know, you are not eating cereal with water, right? You gotta put milk. And so I had to consume a lot more milk than I would like to. And I got a pretty bad case of diarrhea. Like I know it might sound kind of gross for me to talk about this stuff, but yeah. So I had a pretty bad case of diarrhea, but anyways, we continued. We showed our short film to everyone, and I will say that it was definitely the best project because it wasn't boring. Everyone just made 40 slides of Google slides, and it was just taking an hour for them to show. We had this short film that was like 7 minutes, and it was pretty entertaining. And then we had a Kahoot and asked people some questions. I will say it was pretty entertaining when we were presenting our own project, not when others were doing it. They were pretty boring. Like, yeah, so anyways, as I said, I had a pretty bad case of diarrhea, right? So everyone, after doing the presentations, were just heading to do some other events that I don't really remember. I guess it was a culture night or something like that. And yeah, I couldn't really join at first because I spent like 40 minutes in the bathroom. And the thing about that school is that they don't really have any personnel to clean. The students just rotate their duties, and the students are the one doing the cleaning. So I guess someone got really unlucky that day. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty bad. And but I somehow managed to survive that day. It wasn't that terrible. I just still had a pretty bad case of diarrhea. The next day, however, we were going outside, and normally in restaurants, like there are always bathrooms, right? You can eat and go wash your hands or just like take a bathroom break. But in Denmark, we couldn't really find any restaurant that had bathrooms. So I'm out there with an extremely bad case of diarrhea. I'm also pretty dead, I guess. Wait, just let me not die. Okay. So yeah, I'm out there with a pretty bad case of diarrhea trying to find the bathroom to go, right? But I didn't really have access to internet because, you know, when you go abroad, they charge you an extremely high fee to just use internet. So I couldn't really use my mobile hotspot, and I got one of my friends to join me, and we were out there searching for a bathroom for 40 minutes, looking around with Google Maps. And yeah, it wasn't that plausible. I was barely holding myself. I was trying to not poop my pants out there in public. So yeah, anyways, I somehow made it through the whole journey in Denmark. Maybe I can tell more about that sometime later. It was a pretty fun experience, I will say. But let me just get back to my story, all right? So I somehow managed to survive the whole Denmark experience, right? So I'm back to my dorm where I'm staying with 3 other people in my room. It's a pretty small room with just 4 beds and 4 desks, not much space to move. And my diarrhea is still continuing after like a week. And I'm pretty tired. I'm just back from my flight, and I don't really want to do anything, so I just go to sleep. Anyways, then I wake up at I don't really remember. It's like around midnight, maybe 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It's an hour where nobody is pretty much awake at all. Okay, and I was kind of feeling wet. Like my bed was feeling wet, so I was pretty scared. I thought I like hid the bed, and yeah, I wasn't really at the age to do that. But then I realized I didn't pee the bed. I saw the stains, and it was brown. That's when I realized that my diarrhea was just much worse than I hoped. And yeah, I pretty much diarrhea all over my bed. Thankfully, there was a cover for the bed sheets, so I didn't have to get the whole like base of the bed changed. Or I never would have wanted to talk to my teachers about that. Like, imagine like you are like 17 and having to go to tell a teacher that you just pooped the bed and that they need to change it because it's all stained and gross now. So yeah, it wasn't a really fun experience for me. But anyways, so I get up and shower. The first thing I did was to take a shower at 4 a.m. and we aren't really allowed to do that. But what am I going to do? Stay like that until it's morning? No, no way that I'm doing that. And yeah, I went to take a shower. I had to change all my bed sheets and stuff, like the cover, my pillow, because it got all over the place. And I never really told anyone about this, and I don't know why I'm telling people about this now. But yeah, it was really terrible, I would say. I could tell about some other diarrhea experiences. I guess my lactose intolerance being terrible, but I wouldn't don't really want to talk about them for now. And like we are back to the school the next day. It's Monday. I am acting like nothing happened. We are having physics class, and my physics teacher was one of the teachers that came with us to Denmark, and I had to go take a bathroom break during the class. And meanwhile, the other students were doing something like an experiment, I guess. And later, I'm back 20 to 30 minutes, and I don't know why the teacher didn't really ask anyone to come check me after spending 30 minutes in the bathroom. But I came back, and she's like, oh, why did it take you so long? Like, I'm like, I had diarrhea for a week. And then she told me, like, we were in Denmark together. Why didn't you tell me that you had diarrhea? I could have given you medicine. And I'm like, wait, I could have done that. I didn't have to suffer any of this. But yeah, I guess me being kind of socially anxious and just being a dumb person in general resulted in me getting in this situation. Yeah. So it definitely didn't have to happen, but I somehow got myself to this situation, and yeah, that's all. I don't really want to talk about this any longer. Thank you all for watching, and I don't know how you managed to get through all this, but yeah. Anyways, thanks. Bye.